The morning sun spilled golden light across the forest as birds sang cheerfully in the tall pine trees. Masha, still rubbing sleep from her eyes, peeked out the window of Bear's cozy cottage. Today was going to be special. She could feel it. She tied her red scarf around her neck and rushed out to find Bear, who was quietly tending to his garden, humming a soft tune. Masha's energy filled the air as she ran over, nearly tripping on her own boots. Bear chuckled warmly, already guessing she had one of her adventurous plans in mind. Masha told Bear she wanted to be brave today, truly brave. She had always been curious and playful, but bravery felt bigger, stronger, something she wasn't sure she had yet. Bear smiled, wiping his paws, and asked what she meant. Masha pointed toward the edge of the forest, the part where tall shadows swayed and even the squirrels didn't wander too far. She said she wanted to go there alone, just for a little while, to see what was beyond the familiar trails. Bear frowned a little, his kind eyes full of concern. He reminded her that being brave doesn't mean being reckless, and that courage can be quiet too. But Masha was determined. She promised she'd be careful and asked Bear to trust her. After a thoughtful pause, Bear nodded slowly and said, "All right, but remember, real bravery is about doing the right thing, even when you feel scared." With her small backpack and a heart full of excitement, Masha stepped into the forest path. The trees whispered softly above her, and every little rustle made her jump at first. She tried to hum like Bear did when he was calm, but her voice trembled. A tiny butterfly landed on her shoulder, and she smiled. Maybe the forest wasn't so scary after all. As she walked deeper, she found a small stream sparkling like glass, and she decided to follow it. The air was cool and smelled of pine. Everything looked new and alive. But just as she began to relax, she heard a faint cry. A whimper, soft and shaky. Masha froze. Her first thought was to run back, but then she remembered Bear's words about bravery. Taking a deep breath, she followed the sound carefully until she found a little rabbit trapped under a fallen branch. Its eyes were wide with fear. Masha's heart raced. It wasn't dangerous, but it felt like the scariest thing she'd ever done. Her hands shook as she tried to lift the branch, but it was too heavy for her small arms. "Don't worry, little one," she whispered. "I'll get you out." She looked around for help and found a strong stick nearby. Using it like a lever, she pushed with all her might, gritting her teeth. Finally, with a creak and a snap, the branch rolled away and the rabbit was free. Masha fell back into the grass, breathing hard but smiling wider than ever. Meanwhile, Bear had been pacing near the cottage, glancing down the path every few minutes. He trusted Masha, but his heart was uneasy. When he found her sitting by the stream, hair messy and cheeks glowing with pride, his worry melted into laughter. Masha jumped up and ran to him, hugging his leg. She told him everything, about the rabbit, the heavy branch, and how she almost ran away but didn't. Bear listened quietly, nodding, and when she finished, he patted her head gently. That, he said, was true bravery. On their way back home, the forest didn't seem so big anymore. The same trees that had looked tall and scary now shimmered with sunlight through their leaves. Masha picked a small flower and tucked it behind her ear. Bear walked beside her, slow and steady, humming his garden tune again. Masha tried to hum along, and this time her voice didn't tremble. Back at the cottage, the air smelled like honey tea. Bear poured 2 cups, one small, one big, and they sat quietly watching the golden afternoon turn into evening. Masha felt warm inside, not just from the tea, but from something new. The quiet pride that came after facing a fear and doing something kind. She told Bear that at first she thought bravery meant being loud and strong, but now she knew it could be gentle and kind too. Bear smiled, saying that the bravest hearts are the ones that care. As night fell, Masha curled up in her blanket, eyes heavy but full of wonder. She could still hear the rustle of the forest, but now it sounded like a lullaby instead of a mystery. Bear checked the window, seeing the moonlight spilling across the trees, and whispered, "Good job, little one." Masha, half asleep, murmured back, "Good night, Bear." Tomorrow, let's be brave together again. The forest outside shimmered softly, peaceful and safe, as if it too had been touched by Masha's courage. The night closed in with calmness, wrapping their little home in the quiet glow of love and new-found strength.